Welcome to Hobby Life episode 21, everybody. It's your host, Brody the Kid here, come back at you with another episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Southern Hobby Supply and Beckett Media. We have a great show today, guys. We're going to be talking to John Newman from Sports Card Nation Podcast. That is going to be a lot of fun. We have an amazing product rip review. I guess I could show. I'm not going to show it to you guys yet. We'll save it for later. Also, hold, sell, buy segment. You're definitely not going to want to miss that. Really cool. And Hobby Week 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be really awesome. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's get to it. This week on Hobby Week 1, 2, 3, where I show you guys 3 things in the hobby that I think you need to know. Number 1, Upper Deck announces that they are bringing back golf carts. Really awesome. A lot of people really enjoyed when they did these. It's going to be coming out in spring of 2021, starting with Upper Deck Artifacts golf carts for the PGA Tour. Really awesome. And you can pull cards of Tiger Woods. Really, really cool. One of the best golfers of all time. That's going to be so cool coming out in spring. Number 2, Panini announces that they are making a kids crate that will combine blaster boxes, hanger boxes, and all other cool Panini stuff with hats, pencils, stickers. Really, really awesome. These will be at your hobby stores in spring of 2021, and they know that you're only supposed to get it if you're a kid because it's supposed to be 14 under, and the hobby stores can control that, so they make sure that it's only in the hands of kids, which is really awesome. Number 3, Topps is doing a set with Super 70 Sports, a great follow on Twitter. They post some really cool stuff about old vintage baseball and stuff. It's really awesome. And they're working on a set. You saw it kind of last year. Like there was a Tatis one. Similar to that, they kind of combined the set. It's really cool. They got some 70s stars, Yastrzemski, Reggie Jackson, really cool. And then you got some modern stars too. It's a great combination of both eras. You can get autos, which would be really awesome. So definitely check that out at Topps.com. It's really cool. All right, that's it for Hobby Week 1, 2, 3. Everyone, please welcome to Hobby Life Sports Card Nation host John Newman. How you doing, John?
What's up, Brody? Man, this is like a big honor for me to be on your show. Now, I don't know what took you so long. I've had you on my show twice. I thought I was going to have to ask you on my show like a third time just to get asked here, but I'm just kidding. This is a real pleasure, man. You know what I think of you. You're doing great things, and a lot of times people say it's an honor to be on a show, and sometimes it's just kind of lip service, and I can tell you that's not what this is. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. We both got our Brody the Kid shirts on.
I know, I did. I will say this, Brody. You gave this to me at the National in Chicago. I hate to say it, but it's a little tighter today than it was that day. I don't know what's going on, but don't get old. That's what happens. You go out a little bit like this, and you shrink too. So,
all right. So let's start it off. Can I just talk to you guys about you are the host of Sports Card Nation Podcast. How did that start, and what was the general idea when it first started?
Well, it's a long story, but I don't know how long your show is, so I'll give you the Cliff Notes version, Brody. Even before I started in November of 2018, I kind of thought about doing a podcast, but I kind of, you think about it and then you never really, kind of just stays a thought. And then I had a friend of mine named Dan Tortora, and he worked for ESPN Radio in Florida, in Orlando. And he was doing a radio show for them. And I'll make a longer story short. He started not to like, they kind of were telling him what to do all the time. And he couldn't really do his own thing. And he was losing his creativity. So he came back to Central New York here in Syracuse, where we're from, or I live. I'm from New York City, and he started his own broadcast company. He did a morning podcast, Brody, every morning for 3 hours. It was sports, not sports cards, but real life sports like ESPN. And he did some cards. He collected some cards, and he knew I was big into that. And he asked me, he's like, John, how about I had Fridays off from my real job. And he's like, John, why don't you come on? It was a video and audio podcast both. It was so live video. He's like, why don't you bring like 6 to 8 cards on Friday, and we'll kind of what's current going on in the sports world, bring some cards that relate to that, and we'll do like an hour segment with sports cards and sports. And so I did it, went really well, and a bunch of listeners called and like said to Dan, like, is that going to be in every Friday? It was really only supposed to be the one episode, but everyone like kind of like emailed him and messaged him like, is this going to be an every Friday thing on your show, Dan? And he called me up. He goes, you have Fridays off, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he said, well, can you want to do this every Friday? And so I said, yeah, Dan, as long as I don't have plans and it doesn't, interfere with anything I got planned, or my wife, I'm married. So he's, and that was the rest of the history. I did like 15 weeks. And then I had a feeling my schedule was going to change and I wasn't going to have Fridays off. And so I kind of let Dan know, hey, I'm probably going to have to, work Fridays. I'm not going to be able to do the show. And my son Jordan, who hopes someday maybe you'll get to meet him, he's 20. He actually filled in for me for about 6 to 7 weeks before he went off to school. And then I just said, man, I got that experience now. I did it. And here I did it with video. And I'm like, man, I didn't break the camera. My ugly mug didn't break the camera. And I knew I wanted to do at that time, I just wanted to do an audio podcast. And so I figured, man, if you can get over your fears of doing a video, the audio part's going to be kind of much easier because you can, be behind no one has to see you. And I'm not live. And let's be real. That's a lot easier to do not being live. And so I just decided, if you're going to do this, John, now you're either going to do it now or you're not going to do it. And the rest is history. And here we are, almost 2 years later, episode 100 coming up. But we'll talk about that later on.
That's a pretty awesome story. I mean, you always say long stories are the best stories.
Yeah, I can talk, as you know, Brody. So sometimes I have to like keep myself in check and make those long stories shorter.
All right. So you talked about the podcast. You've been doing it. You're coming up on your 100th episode. What are some of the favorite things that you have done during the podcast?
Oh, well, the tagline of the show, Brody's the hobby is the people. And when I came up with that, I came up with that even before I even did the show. I knew, I've been in this hobby almost 40 years now. I started when I was 7 years old. And, the cards are great. That's why we're all here. We have a passion for it. Or, we love sports, or at least most of us that are into cards can attest to that too. But at the end of the day, this hobby's the community. It's the people. And so to me, that's an easy question. It's meeting people like yourself and your parents and other people in the hobby, the good people in the hobby that, you can't, it's hard to explain, but those relationships and friendships you make, you can't put a price on that. And the cards will always be there. But the people you're blessed when you meet them. So,
yeah, definitely, for sure. You've been a big supporter of mine since I first started, and I wanted to ask you about this because I'm a kit collector trying to get more kids to the hobby. What do you think is the best way to do this, with it being hard to find cards, especially at Target and Walmart's now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And Brody, you've heard me on my shows. Kids in the Hobby is a huge platform of mine. What you're doing, well, first off, I'll answer by saying what you're doing is a huge difference maker, right? And so, being an example that kids can partake in the hobby, you're leading the way. You're a shining example of that. I'd like to see, I'd like to see these companies, Panini, Topps, Upper Deck. I mean, they do some things. I don't want to say they're not doing anything. I'd like to see them do, maybe a little more. We have some products that are geared to the younger set with Big League and opening day. But I think they could do more, or they could even do more with those existing products. Maybe put some more stuff in them, more game use, some autos. I think, when a kid pulls an autograph or a game use card, that adrenaline rush that can get them to love the hobby, it goes a long way. And, but again, what you're doing, Brody, you're an inspiration to an old guy like myself. And, like I said, I started as a 7-year-old kid myself many years ago, many moons ago. But, and it was a different hobby then. Let's be honest. But, kids are important because unfortunately, guys like me are not going to be here forever. And then that next group coming up's got to take that baton. And I've said this on my show. I don't know if you've heard it. I gave you a plug. I said, man, if the next group is anything like Brody, this hobby's going to be in great shape. And I really, when I do shows as a dealer and set up, and I just love seeing kids, and I've given cards, I've had a kid look at something in a showcase and he asked his dad, if he could get it. And dad says no. And it's, I can't do it every time, but sometimes I'll just pull that card out and say, you know what, here you go. It's on the house. And it's things like that can go a long way to, having someone rekindle or kindle something in the hobby and get in the hobby. What you're doing again is a great thing, and I'm sure it's made a big difference.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words.
Freeze! It is time for Interrupting Game Show! This is the part of the show where we play a silly game that makes no sense and has no point, but we like to make everybody go through it. What do you guys think? Are you ready?
I don't know why this crazy lady always appears on every episode of Hobby Life. I think eventually I'm just going to have to say, I'm just going to have to cut her off at some point because it gets annoying.
Okay, here's how today's game is going to work. Brody will give you 2 answers. You pick your favorite one. If you get to 100 points, someone in the live chat will win a mystery prize pack. Do you think you can handle it, John Newman?
Well, I'm good at Jeopardy, so I'm not that scared. I'm ready.
This is harder than Jeopardy, John Newman.
Now I'm a little scared, but I'm game to try it anyway.
All right. Are you ready?
Let's go.
I am, because I got it.
I'm sorry, that was very lame. Let's try it again. Are you ready?
Yes.
I guess I'll do it already, I guess.
And 3, 2, 1, go.
Summer or winter?
Summer for sure.
Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
Hobby or retail?
Retail. Water
slide or sledding?
Sledding.
New York style pizza or Chicago style pizza?
Oh man, I gotta go New York, but I like them both. I won't argue. I won't kick either one of those off my plate.
When I had Emily Kless from Topsod, she also said New York style, and it baffled my mind.
See, I'm from New York, Brody, and that going back to the winter question, we get some bad winters here, so I'll take the summer. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Action movie or spooky movie?
Spooky movie.
Ripping packs or sorting cards?
Ripping packs. That's easy.
College football or NFL?
NFL.
Favorite kid collector web show host? Brody the Kid or Brody the Kid?
Or Brody the Kid. I'm going Brody the Kid.
All right. VIP tickets to the Super Bowl or coffee with Tom Brady?
Oh, that's easy. Give me the tickets to the Super Bowl.
Exercise or drinking spoiled milk?
Drinking spilled milk. You can as long as you can spit it back out. So.
And because I ask everyone, Anna or Elsa?
I've never seen the movie, but I have a relative named Anna, so I'm going Anna.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations. We don't know why, but you have won Interrupting Game Show.
Right.
Someone in the live chat will win a prize pack if they post a star emoji now.
Go do it right now.
We now return to our regularly scheduled programming.
All right. So we're back. I'm sorry about that. Like I said, hopefully that's the last time, but I'm sure next episode she's going to pop up again and she's going to mess with my brain and everything. But hopefully that was the last time.
I don't know. I liked it. That was fun. If you know, you could send her to our show if you.
I wanted to ask you about Hobby Hotline. You've been involved with it from the beginning. I am one of the newer co-hosts, and I just wanted to ask you how it came about as the idea.
Well, it comes off another show that was probably, you were too young probably to remember it. Even I just vaguely remember. It's called Cardboard. I think it was called Cardboard Connection, and it was sort of a lower scale. You know, technology wasn't as good as what we have it now, and so, but it was similar concept. They could have people ask questions, and you'd have hosts. And Rob Bertrand from Goat GTS was actually involved with that. He was one of the hosts of that. And then that kind of just went away. I don't know all the details. I know there were some issues behind the scenes, but whatever they were, they are. And the show kind of went away, and no one ever really did it again. And you know, a couple of us that were already doing other podcasts said, "Want to try this again?" Like, obviously, we'll change the name. It's not going to be called the same thing. It's going to be a different incarnation. And we just kind of started asking people, you know, other podcasters. We pretty much asked at the time. I mean, now there's a ton of shows, Brody, but at the time there wasn't as many sports card hobby podcasts. So we literally asked almost everyone, every host, and you know, some said yes, some said no, or you know, but everyone, even the ones that said no, were nice. They just said time-wise they didn't have the time, and you know, and then we got our nucleus, and then we just started. We had to come up with a name and a logo, and then the rest, you know, again, to keep the story on the shorter side, we finally got a name and a logo and a format. And, you know, like anything, you lose some folks. And then, you know, my vision of the show was I didn't really want to set sort of like a cap. Like if someone is really good at what they do, like yourself, and we can have them be part of this. This is a community. The show is not about me or just you. It's about all of us. And so, and the callers that call into the show, that's really their show. They get to set the tone, ask the questions, and we're just kind of the moderators. And so I never really wanted to put a cap on the show. I mean, obviously you can't have 30 hosts in 4 weeks, but you know, I also wanted it to be where we could have people, a lot of fresh faces if need be. And, you know, when we had a few openings, you were one of the, I'm not just saying this, I thought about you right away. And, you know, I know you're busy, but glad to have you aboard. And you bring a different perspective to the show that the show needs, quite frankly. And, you know, again, with kids being important, you know, you're sort of the face for that niche, and we're glad to have you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. I mean, it's been awesome. A lot of fun. Very cool. Everybody, make sure to go check out Hobby Hotline Saturdays at 10 p.m. Central or 10 a.m. Central Time. Definitely check it out. All right, John, before we go, can you tell us about the upcoming 100th episode of Sports Card Nation podcast on Halloween?
It's on Halloween. It's almost like WWE wrestling. It's that kind of an event. It's going to be the first ever. I'm gonna try to take a page from your book and do it live. It's going to be live on Halloween. I think at 1 p.m. It's the 100th episode. We only get to do that one time. Got a lot of work to do, and it's not that far away, but I got to get in gear. Going to have 3 guests, and thankfully you're one of them, along with Dr. Beckett and Drew Herndon. And there's a method to my madness with who I wanted to be on episode 100. And it's not a secret, so I'm not breaking news necessarily. It's going to be something I mention on the show itself. But what you do is very inspiring. I appreciate what you do. We've become pretty good friends. You're now on Hobby Hotline, and kids, you kind of remind me. You're better looking than I was at that age, but you kind of remind me of me, someone who loves the hobby at that age and is an advocate. Now, I was a shyer kid, so when I was 11, 12, 13, if there was a camera, I would be running the other way. You'd never know that now if you hear me, but
Yeah.
at the time, that, believe it or not, I was a very shy young man, kid. And so the fact that you do what you do is inspiring to me, and you were a no-brainer to me to have on that episode. And then Dr. Beckett, for me, starting at 7 years old, then doing my first show as a dealer at 15, opening my store at 20. Dr. Beckett, with the Beckett Media and the price guides and all the stuff he did for the hobby, he's sort of not sort of, he is a hobby icon.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to, I've been very blessed to get to know him. And, he reached out to me and said he listens to Sports Card Nation and he likes the show. And I said, well, come on the show, put your money where your mouth is. He's been on the show. As you know, he comes on Hobby Hotline, and we chat quite often. And so that was another, again, no-brainer. And then Drew Herndon from Let Me Get That Potograph, for me, when I first got started, Brody, in November of 18, he was one of those guys that we just struck up a friendship. He gave me a lot of pointers and tips. He was kind of open arms and say, hey, man, welcome to the podcasting family. And that was very helpful. And he's been on the show a few times as well, obviously part of Hobby Hotline too. And so I knew I only, I couldn't, I'd love to have, we've had 77 different guests when episode 100 rolls out. And I wish I had the time to have them all back if they could do it.
That'd be a really long show.
It'd be probably a 24-hour show. I'm too old for that. Maybe the younger me might have pulled that off.
Maybe a 1000th episode.
Yeah. But so I had to narrow it down to 3 or 4 people. And, I took a little time to do it, but it's funny. I'll be honest with you this, and I don't mean this as a slight to anyone else. So like I said, I'd have everybody back on in the New York Minute, but the 3 kind of came to me rather quickly. And, I thought about just to make sure, and I was really, there's a saying like, trust your gut instinct, right? Your first gut instinct, and it was right as far as I'm concerned. And glad that you're going to be part of it, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it. Can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media? Check that all out.
All right, so if you Google Sports Card Nation podcast, all my stuff will come up. On Twitter, I'm at SportsCardNati1. I ran out of room to too many letters, so it's SportsCardNati1. On Instagram, it's Sports Card Nation podcast. But if you Google Sports Card Nation, all that stuff will come up. Instagram, Twitter, my website, all that good stuff. I'm not very hard to find, and looking forward to episode 100, and glad you agreed to be part of it. It means a lot to me. I appreciate that, Brody.
Yeah, I cannot wait for it. I just want to thank you again, John, for coming on, and I want to thank you really for being one of my first supporters and just believing me for a long time. Thank you so much, John.
Well, you're welcome, first off, but, what you're doing, like I said, you make it easy to support you, because what you're doing is great stuff, man. I just think back to when I was your age. I was scared, Brody. I was scared to ask the teacher, like, permission to go to the restroom. So you're out in front of this camera. You're at the National in front of everybody, doing events, and I would be running the other way and or hiding behind somebody at that age. And you're doing it, and you're a natural at it, and keep going. Like I always joke, take your time taking my job. I want to do it, and at least I want to get to episode 150 before you put me out of business.
Thank you so much again, John. And let's do it together, all right? Peace out on 3, all right? 1,
ready?
2, 3. Peace out.
Peace out.
Thank you so much, John.
You're welcome, Brody. Air fist bump.
Alright guys, it's time now for product rip review. We are doing 2020 Topps Allen & Ginter X. This was a Topps online exclusive sold at $100 each. They're pretty cool cards. They're like regular Allen & Ginter, but instead of the white background, they're black. They look pretty sick. So, 18 packs per box, 8 cards per pack. I think you get 1 auto per box. That's how it was at least in years past. So we'll go ahead and get into this and see what we find. So instead of the white packs, we have the black packs. They're pretty cool. I've seen them from years past. They're pretty cool cards, man. I like them. This is the first year I've gotten them, though, so I'm pretty excited. Here's the odds. Numbered cards, short prints, some minis. Yeah. Pretty cool. The autos seem kind of rare, but I remember that it was 1 auto per box. I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty. The backs are the same, though. No changes to the backs. These look really cool, man. Very good job done. Tim Anderson, I like that one for the PC. Rusio Dubon. The mini of Joey Votto just kind of flew out. So I was looking through the other cards. Dubon. Anthony Kay, he played pretty solid this year. Tatis, it's a nice one. Oscar Mercado and Honus Wagner. It'd be pretty cool if you put together the whole regular Allen Ginter set and then the whole X one. And then I think they're doing Chrome for this too. So if you could put all 3 of those sets together, that'd be pretty cool. Here's Mike Schmidt. Friedman. Rob Friedman. DJ LeMahieu. This looks like gold, kind of. I don't know. It looked kind of... The other ones were like silver, but then this one's gold too. There goes our mini again. Whit Merrifield. Just kind of flew out. Eddie Matthews. Munson. Thurman Munson. Justin Dunn. And Jackie Robinson. Yeah, very, very cool cards. I like them a lot. Like I said, though, it is my first year purchasing a box. I mean, I've seen them before, and I always wanted them. They're just hard to get on the site, and this year I finally did it. Nelson Cruz. I always wanted them. They just so... This one's got, like, a different feel to it, or a different kind of look. You see that? I don't know, like, if it's just, like, a short print or something. Yeah, it's got a different code, so I don't know if that's just a base short print. Yeah, I think it's just a base short print. I don't know, it has like a kind of weird look though. I don't know. Still cool though. Ralph Kiner mini, Isan Diaz rookie, and Rod Carew. I got some Allen Ginter this year, regular version, but not too much. But they got something here. Zach Greinke. Doc Emmerich, who just retired, sadly. Oh, it's one of these be the first to crack the codes. That's why I look the same. Doc Emmerich, legendary NHL announcer, just retired. Bryce Harper, that's pretty cool. Gaines, Bob Gibson. John Lester looks like another one of the short prints. Lionel Cepeda, Miniature Story. Brandon Lau, who had an absolute amazing season. He played really well. Leading the race to the World Series against the Dodgers. Lassick? I don't know. Ryan Braun? I don't think I've gotten that one before. Ken Griffey Jr., Michael Brandt. Those both look different. I can't tell. They don't look like as black as those ones. It's kind of, I don't know. It's a regular code 49797. Yeah, I don't know. Just some of them like don't. Their shade of black looks different. Matthew Boyd and Jim Thome. I don't know. Darryl Strawberry, Kirby Yates, Seaver, Piazza, Robin Yount. Oh, Brooklyn back. Sweet. Robin Yount, hand numbered out of 25. Allen Ginter, Brooklyn back. And it's kind of weird, though, that it's the regular white mini. Those are actually 1 in 289 packs for those. Pretty rare. Pretty awesome, too. That's a really sweet card. Best card of the box so far. It's not gun. AJ Puck rookie. That's not bad. But I wonder why. I kind of makes me wonder, though, if there's 25, but that looks like a regular Allen Ginter. So they put 15 of those in regular Allen Ginter and the other 10, 16, not the ones numbered 16 through 21 in here. I don't know, because it is just the base white. So that kind of, I am kind of intrigued by that. Trevor Bauer, mini. Kendrick, Adbert Alzolay, rookie. Clemens, DeGrom, Cohen, and Mats Olson. That feels kind of weird. Might just be because the mini kind of sticks out sometimes. Reggie Jackson, Mr. October, Clevenger, Scherzer, Morgan. So is that a short print? No. Billy Williams. We have a Isan Diaz rookie mini, Scurry, and Paul Goldschmidt. All right, this is the 9th pack, so after this pack we'll be halfway through. Mr. Smile, Hunter Harvey rookie, Machado, Corbin, Raleigh Fingers, mini Jackie Bradley Jr., Siegel, and Matt Tice rookie. All right, halfway through, guys. Really awesome product, guys. You know, it wasn't super expensive either. $100. Not too bad. Ted Williams, Jeff McNeil, Lorenzo Cain, Moncada, Ralph Kiner, Nelson Cruz. Isn't that like the second Nelson Cruz mini? I feel like we got one before. I'm going to have to go through. I got to go through now. Miguel Sano, Mike Trout. That's cool. Teft. I don't know. Steven Teft. Otani. Miguel Cabrera. Edwards. Julian Edwards, an actor. Looks like a kid. That might be a kid. Swanson. It's pretty interesting, though, that kid, actor who looks like a kid, has his own cards in Allen Ginter. Pretty interesting. Polanco, Benintendi, Max Kepler, Craig Biggio, Nomar Garciaparra, Corey Seager mini, Franco and Verlander. Getting down towards the end of this box, guys. Glaber. Bananas? What? Johnny Bananas. Reality show champion and host. Oh, jeez. Johnny Johnny Bananas. That's his name. Is that his actual name? I feel like that's gotta be, that's gotta be like a nickname or something. There's no way his real name's actually Bananas. I don't know, though. I mean, I'm not going to say it isn't because I really don't have any idea. Maybe it is. Gonzalez, Rolls Chapman mini, Sonny Gray, Jim Palmer. We have 3 packs left in this box. There's Edwards again, Trevor Bauer, Roger Maris, Warren Spain, Lofton, or Warren Spahn. I don't know why I said Spain, not Chapman. What I read in my mind, even though, like, looking back and I'm like, wait a minute, that's Spawn, not Spain. Nick Ahmed, I'm not 100% how to say that. Tommy Edman, Dave Winfield, Mark Grace, Mini, Cano, and Hira. So if we do get an auto in every box, it would be in this pack, but I don't know. It looks like we do have a thicker card, so I don't know if it's a relic, I don't know. Maybe it might be a framed auto. I don't really know. There's a Peter Alonso mini. That's pretty cool. Strasburg, Gurriel, Alfaro, Correa, Alvarez, and... Oh, Alvarez rookie. That's actually pretty good. I was just looking for the auto. I didn't even realize that's a rookie of Yordan Alvarez. Oh, that's pretty cool. a framed mini auto out of 20, 15 of 20 of Ken Jeong, actor and comedian. That's pretty cool. I think that's the first auto I've ever pulled out against her because they're not super common. So let's hear. Framed mini non-baseball player autograph parallels. 145 packs for this card. So pretty cool, guys, for sure. Very awesome. I mean, that looks really cool, man. That gray border with the black mini. Odd card to 25. Pretty cool. So that's a really fun box, guys. Remember, these aren't on Topps' website anymore. I'm pretty sure they sold out pretty much right away, but definitely check out on YouTube people opening them because they're really cool cards, and that is a sick card as well. So thank you all for watching Product Rip Review. Let's move on to the show. All right, everyone, we are back with John Newman. I could not let him go yet, so we're going to be playing a game with him here. What's up, John, again?
What's up? Let's be honest. You tried to get rid of me, and I'm very persistent. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to leave my studio yet. So here I still am, and we're going to play a game again, which I love games. So this is going to be fun.
Like you mentioned before, you're pretty good at Jeopardy, so we'll see how you do in this one.
Yeah.
All right. So this is called Hold, Sell, Buy. And Hold, Sell, Buy is a little game show we started a couple episodes ago. And basically how it works is I'm going to give you some players. I think it's all 7 MLB players today. And you're going to tell me hold, sell, or buy. So sell meaning, these cards are at the highest point you think they're ever going to be. I don't know, they're going to go down or the guy's going to get hurt and never play again. Like something like that. And then hold meaning like they're at a good price, but you're not like 100% sure whether he's going to be Tom Brady or Jamarcus Russell. Like you're not 100% sure yet.
Yep.
And then buy being like Randy Arozarena. Buy.
Yep.
All right. So let's start it off with, from my White Sox, Luis Robert.
It's a hold. And speaking of him, I have a lot of his stuff, Brody. And so I'm speaking from experience. He's very young. He had a pretty good year. He got a little tired at the end, but he's very young. Anytime a player is compared to Mike Trout, that's a big name to get that comparison. I like him. I think it's kind of silly to sell now because he's got probably a long career ahead of him. So I'm taking my own advice because I have quite a bit of Luis Robert stuff. It's a hold.
Yeah, and he was cold until the playoffs where he hit that like 485-foot homer. That was pretty awesome.
I think he's going to be okay. He's going to be okay.
All right, so my pick for AL MVP, and I hope he does win it, Jose Abreu.
Sell. He's a sell. He's a little older. I think he's had sort of his career years. He's a great player. Saying that, I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm just saying, like you explained in the intro of the game, it's, at the peak. He's kind of at the peak. Does he have a little more room? Yeah, I mean, it's debatable whether he's going to make the Hall of Fame or not. But me personally, I would probably sell at this point.
Well, I think especially if he does win MVP, stuff will go. I mean, they've shot up a little bit, especially since he had a nice year. If he wins MVP, they'll probably go up even more. So I definitely, if he wins MVP, that's a good idea. All right, Ronald Acuna Jr.
Oh man, hold sell. Like there's a hell. Pardon my English. He's really like his stuff. You know this, Brody. You're in the hobby. His stuff's pretty expensive now. He's young too. We forget how he was 20 when he first came up. He's only played a couple years. So I'll go hold, but I understand. Like I've sold some of his stuff too because it's up there. I don't think you can really lose. But yeah, I kind of put him in the same category as Luis Robert, but he's kind of done a little bit more already. Had a little head start on him.
I definitely agree with that. Derek Jeter.
I'm a sell on Jeter. I'm a New York guy, and I don't know if you ever heard the story I told. When I had my card store, it was 92 to 96, right in that Jeter SP rookie year. And I always thought, he was sort of overrated because he was the Yankee shortstop. Mm-hmm. And so I sold, the first couple of years, I sold about 150 of those SP Jeters. Not all at once, but in a 2-year span. for a lot less than what they go for now. He's going in the hall. Well, he's in the hall. It got canceled with COVID, but I think his stuff is sort of at that peak. I would sell.
I would agree with that. All right,
Yep.
Jordan Alvarez.
Definite hold. I like Jordan a lot. Another guy, Brody. Were you in my house? Because you're naming guys I have a lot of stuff of, like Jordan, I have a lot of stuff. Maybe even a little bit more Jordans than Luis Roberts. He's another guy. He got hurt this year. Got hurt a little bit even last year. Definite hold. You shouldn't sell him now because you're not going to get what you will maybe eventually anyway. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So a hold. I like him long term. I think he's going to be one of those 35 to 40 home run guys every year. And so you might as well wait and hope he just stays injury free.
Yeah, I would definitely hold. Maybe even buy just because when he did get hurt, his stuff did go down.
Yeah. You know what? I forgot. I'm sort of thinking like hold or sell. But yeah, buy might be, especially in the off season too. It might even go down a little bit more.
I would definitely agree with that. All right, Aaron Judge.
Man, I would probably sell. He's another guy. I'm in New York, Brody. So I'm not a Yankee fan, but I do know a lot about what kind of trends are going on here with Yankee cards. The problem with Aaron, like he's a great player, but it's like every year it seems like he misses 20 games with like a little year, and he hasn't really played a full year. I mean, his 140 games are probably better than most people's 162, but yeah. I he's got a big frame. He's 6'7". He's just a big guy, and those guys sometimes start to break down. I mean, he's young yet, but he's already kind of getting these injuries early. It would make me nervous, so I would probably sell.
All right, and lastly, but not least, one of my favorite MLB players, Bo Bichette.
I think he's a buy. I'm going to definitely say he's a buy. My son Jordan, when that whole Vlad Guerrero Jr. craze was going on, my son came to me and said, Pop, Bo Bichette's going to be better than Vladdy Jr. And at the time, I'm like, I don't know, man. And I think he might have been on to something. Bo had a great – he got hurt too this year. I think, we got to remember there wasn't a real true spring training.
Yeah.
And so some of these injuries might be due to that. But he's a young kid. He hasn't shown like an injury history, and I think he's going to be fine. When you look at Vladdy again, when you look at body type, Vlad's got some pounds on him. Bo Bichette plays shortstop. That's a prime position, as you know, in the sport of baseball. Had a great year before he got hurt. Came back and still played well, too, at the end. I would buy him while you can. I think, his stuff's not cheap, but I think there's still more ceiling there if his career goes like I think it will.
Well, I think the Blue Jays are going to get really good because I think Biggio will start playing well. I think, Vladdy, you could tell Vladdy was starting to play a little better at the end of the year. And it's hard to kind of look at somebody's stats if they didn't play too good because if you were in a slump in a 60-game season, your average is not going to come out.
Yeah, you have a bad start, like the first 15, 20 games. You mentioned the Blue Jays, Brody. You look at those two teams, the Blue Jays and the White Sox. They kind of remind me of each other. Got a lot of young talent, superstars. I think the White Sox probably have a little bit better in the pitching category. I think the Blue Jays are probably a pitcher or two away from being a real competitor in the American League. I think hitting wise, they're not too they're right there. I think that they're right there with the White Sox as far as hitting goes. I just think the White Sox staff is better, and so I think Bichette, Vladdy, I think his thing is staying in shape, staying healthy. He might he kind of just I don't want to say he worries me, but I see him sort of just becoming sort of like a DH, right, where he doesn't play in the field as much. And if you know anything about cards, there's not a lot of DHs cards that bring a lot of demand. Cecil Fielder kind of comes to mind, and obviously I root for people, so I'm hoping I'm a little wrong on my assessment. I'm not a major league scout, so who knows? But I like Bichette. Going back to that, I like him. He plays that shortstop position. Just kind of a 5'2" guy, can run, can hit, can play defense, and fun to watch. That's for sure. I'm not even a Blue Jays fan, and he's fun to watch.
Yeah, I got a bonus question for you. Said
All
White
right.
Sox staff, and something came to mind. Who do you think the White Sox will hire as their next manager?
Oh man, that's a great question. Man, let me think. I know he's old. I know he rubs people the wrong way sometimes. I don't know if he's on their radar, but if I was the GM of the White Sox, I'd think about Buck Showalter. I know the trend in Major League Baseball is to go with the young hot manager, but Buck's sometimes can wear out his welcome. He's kind of a tough guy, but his track record's pretty good. And he was in Baltimore, but that team was really bad. I don't think you can hold that against him. You could have the greatest manager in the world. Yeah, that's just a bad team. No one could have wrote at that time. I mean, they're getting better now, but you're only as good as your players ultimately. And so he'd be a guy I'd look at. As far as a younger guy, I don't know. I'm old, so I kind of go back to the guys I'm more familiar with. Ozzie Guillen, I know they're not going to hire him. They've been there and done that, but Ozzie Guillen was another guy that had some success.
They already said no.
I heard his name mentioned. Now I don't know if that's people wishful thinking and kind of want him back.
Yeah.
But he's someone you'd probably consider. Although what would make me a little nervous there is he never really managed again after the White Sox let him go. I wonder why that might be the case. And so they got a smart guy. Is Kenny Williams still the GM in the White Sox? Or
I think so.
I think so. He's a pretty smart guy, former player. If he's still there, he'll probably get the right guy. How about I'll throw another name out, right? How about A.J. Hinch?
Yeah, I was thinking about that maybe too.
Right.
I mean,
there's a lot. If you're reading a lot of the stuff about the Astros, I don't know if it's true or it's not true, but supposedly he didn't know as much as he first got accused of.
And so Cora knew more.
Yeah. So hey, he's a good manager. You sit him down and you tell him we don't want any. We're going to give you another chance. Everyone deserves a second chance. We don't want nothing like that happening here. We want you to manage our ball club and get it done, but let's do it above board. Let's do it the right way this time. And I'd be. I'm a Mets guy, and they're probably going to be in the market for a manager themselves. And he'd be. Now that I think about it, he'd probably be at the top of my list, Brody. So he should be to me. If it's Kenny Williams there, I'd put A.J. Hinch in the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. All right. It's been very fun talking to you again, John. Thank you so much again for coming on and being so supportive of me.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on. Anytime.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, John, on that 100th episode of Sports Card Nation podcast. See you later.
All right. There you go. See you, Brody.
That's it for episode 21 of Hobby Life, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Southern Hobby Supply and Beckett Media. Thank you so much to John Newman from Sports Card Nation Podcast for joining us today, guys. Make sure to check out his 100th episode with me, Drew Herndon, and Dr. Beckett. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it. All right, that's it for this episode, guys. I'll see you all next episode. And like I always say, peace out. Wait. Make sure to tweet about the show and you can win. I'll see you all next episode.